Today we are talking about astronomy. I have 3 astronomy curriculums that I have either started. There's one I didn't finish, but it's not. But anyway, I'm going to talk about all 3 of them and get in and tell you my favorite. First up, I want to show you the product of the day. It is this asteroid game. It's actually made a video of all the gifts and possibilities for Easter, different toys and stuff. And this is on the list there. And so what it is it's a smart game. So it's a game that can be used independently or, as a team. So you just basically set it up the board, and then you got to get this plane to slide off. So in order to slide off, his wings have to be free. And there's a bunch of different board games here. So it's called, I believe, Asteroid Escape. And it is by Smart Games. And yeah, these are the boards. As you set up the board like that, and then the answers are at the back as to the most popular way to complete the board. So I pay my kids to do smart games. That's what I do now, or at least my one son. I pay him because he does a lot of chores himself without getting paid. So I was kind of running out of stuff. So I was like, all right, you can do smart games. So I have a bunch of smart games. And a lot of those games, my favorite games, were on the Easter list, and including what I'm getting my kids for Easter. But today we're here to talk about astronomy, and I don't want to waste your time. So let's talk about astronomy. I'm going to talk into 3 curriculums. The Good and the Beautiful, Astronomy Family Style, the Rabbit's Trail, the astronomy one, which I forget the exact title that it's called, and then this one, Real Science for Kids. I will tell you that this does not mention God in it, whereas the other 2 are Christian focused, obviously, if you know the Good and the Beautiful. Now, the Good and the Beautiful one, I found it was good and it was beautiful, but if I had to choose, I would go, I think that the book selections and that the ease of implementation, and I did it as a group subject for Rabbit Trails, the one on the universe and things like that, is much better. The activities are great. One of them has to do with tinfoil and creating like the moon. There's just a lot of really good activities on there for it. It's a simple setup. There's 2 spines that you need, one of them being one of the best books you should have on space. Anyway, if you're interested in space, I will put that on the screen. I don't have it here with me right now, but it's a fantastic book. It has real pictures of all the moons, everything and anything and everything. Now, because we are space lovers in the house, we did the Rabbit Trails one a couple years ago, and I don't have it with me to show you because it was on my computer and I lost it. It's a printable. I didn't want to bother her and be like, hey, could you send me another copy? Because I had already done it and completed it. But I will show you a sample of it on the screen. So it has the spines that you need, which are books that you use throughout it, but it also has some pretty good book selections as well. Her book selections are usually top-notch. Some of her book selections are in my top books of the year that I read in the last few years. And they are not necessarily from the space unit, but from other ones. However, and they are available there's no however, they are available at the library, those as well. So very good. So very, very good. But let me show you. So after we did that one, this is to be done anytime grades K through 4. So this is Real Science for Kids. They have the chemistry, physics, all the different areas of science. And it's everything you basically need to know before you hit, for example, middle school. So, and it comes with the laboratory notebook, which I did not utilize at all. I've done the whole curriculum and I didn't utilize the laboratory notebook here, and I didn't utilize the teacher's manual. Now, if choosing between, now this is not God-focused. With young children and older children, this is mostly just a little older. So it's not something that your kindergartner would be like, oh yes, please explain to me again about our universe. So, but one of the things in here, let me show you. So let me give you a peek inside here. So what it's going to cover is, the first chapter is a little dull because it has like famous early astronomers. So it's not that interesting, the first chapters. And to be honest, I was like, did I really like it? Like, even I started reviewing it, I forget why. And I mentioned that I was reading it and I didn't really care for it so far. It just wasn't that interesting. But then by the time you hit chapter 3, it's very interesting. And what I liked about it is, before I had read this, I was like, well, do you really need an astronomy curriculum? Like, it's fun and it's great and you're learning a bit, but do you really need one? Except that in here, we learn things that I did not know before. Like, did you know that the Milky Way is in something called a local group? It's in the local group of universes. No, it's in the local group of galaxies. The biggest being in our local group is Andromeda, and the Milky Way second, and following third is Triangulum. So very interesting. It does cover a bit of, so there's stuff that I didn't learn from all the books and things that I had read. There's two types of planets. There's Jovian planets and there's terrestrial planets. Jovial planets are planets made mostly of gas like Jupiter, and there's terrestrial planets like Earth, I believe, and Mars that are made of rocks and minerals. So I'm telling you, you learn quite a lot of interesting stuff. There's also an inner solar system, the outer solar system. So, and then it talks about, of course, the focus on astronomy. It's got like the Big Dippers and the Great Bear and things like that. So let me show you what I did. So this is how I went through 6 science curriculums this year with my kids. Let me show you how. I don't know if I should show you how now or show you in. So this is the teacher's manual. So it does have a lot of experiments. Didn't do any of them. I didn't do any of them. I generally don't do experiments. Sorry, I don't do them. I know, completely do not do them. But what I like about the real science for kids ones is because it's written by, she's a PhD, but she was a homeschool mom. All the things that you need for the experiments, you have in your house. You do not have to leave. You do not have to go searching. I mean, it really, you may have to get a styrofoam ball. I'll give you that. Styrofoam ball you may have to pick up. But other than that, no. Okay, and this is the laboratory notebook, which is observe it on a clear night, go outside and observe the stars. Okay, write down where you are, the time of night, and the direction you are facing. So this is your laboratory notebook. Okay, the constellations and things like that. You can also get, they do have readers for the astronomy. You don't have to get the readers and this. The readers, I'll show you a bit into the readers. Here's a little short of the readers. But this is the readers for like the 5 different subjects. I didn't get the astronomy ones, so I do not have those to show you. But I know from having the chemistry ones, the physics ones, all those, you don't need this curriculum and the readers. You can do one or the other. And it's about $79 for, you'll get about maybe 6 or 7 readers that have to do with astronomy. Okay, so what I do since then is this is what I do with all the science curriculums, is I take what I think is important and I put it in this book. And this book has a 100 days challenge. So at the end of the 100 days, once we complete 100 days or 50 days, whatever I feel like, but for this particular year, it was 100 days, then we get to go to a water park. We're going to go to a water park. So once a week, we review this. And in this book, it's got things like questions and answers about God. It's whatever specific prayers that we're working on. But what I want to go to is it has the science stuff in it. So this is what I did up on Canva. So this was a printed background. It's not me doing it. But I just put in about the local group, Andromeda, Triangulum, about the Jovian planets, the terrestrial planets, basically the northern hemisphere. So the North Star is also known as Polaris. I put in Ursa Major, the story of Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, the southern hemisphere, and things like that. That's specifically what I pulled out, the things that, because like it's not necessary. I do it from every science curriculum, and it's not necessary that you memorize everything in astronomy, right? Like, come on. It's not that important. It's not that interesting, but they just learn it very quickly if you associate pictures attached to it. And if you do it once a week, and it takes honestly like 10 minutes to go through this book. And then I take things out as we've learned them and save it for a review and stuff like that. So anyway, I hope that helps make your decision as to why we stopped the good and the beautiful. It just, at that time in my life, I just didn't have it in me. There's a lot of cutting out of pictures. There's a lot of doing a lot of different things. You have to continue. You don't have to continually, but there's a script for you to follow. And it just wasn't as smooth and as easy as other curriculums were. I just like to sit while my kids are eating read to them so that they're not jumping all over the place. I read through this book. We talk about it. We discuss it. We work on the answers of the questions that are asked in this book and in any science book. And then, and then I sum it up and we go through the summations. So that is just how I teach. It's the easiest way to teach for me. Anyway, I hope you liked it. I hope you tune in again, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.